What's the first thing you guys would spend your money on after winning the lottery? There is no way that you can go bankrupt after winning $100 million. I mean, at that point, you must think you're set for life, right? Well, that's wrong. Dumbest lottery winners of all time, a Sunny V2. This is kind of nostalgic, actually. The last time I looked at a Sunny V2 video was when I had like 50 subs. Now there's almost 500 of you guys, which is crazy. It means the world to me. I realize now that road to 10K seems kind of ambitious. I'm definitely not going to stop saying it though, but let's try and get to 1,000 first.
From accidentally throwing a £3 million lottery ticket in the bin
Wait, what?
to spending an entire
£3 million thrown away in the bin? Yo, let me find out I did some stupid shit like that. I would probably raid every single junkyard in my city. £3 million, you got me messed all the way up. Wait, in pounds, isn't that British shit? That's gotta be worth more than just the American dollar. I think they'd have to put me on suicide watch.
bin to spending an entire $16 million prize in under 90 days. These are the absolute...
You deserve to be bankrupt. Who the hell was winning these lottos? It had to have been some crackheads winning these. I'm sorry for pausing, but like 16 M's. What do you think you're in a GTA server or what?
dumbest lottery winners of all time, beginning with Jose Antonio Quartok, who almost lost his entire lottery fortune after getting someone else to claim the money for him. You see, when Jose won the $750,000 jackpot back in 2010, he was living in the US illegally, so Jose asked his boss to claim the prize on his behalf, as he feared he couldn't claim the money without potentially facing legal trouble and deportation. This worked out perfectly until Jose's boss began to falsely state that he was the one who had actually purchased the ticket. Taking legal action against his boss was risky, given Jose wasn't supposed to be in the country at all. However, given he had security camera footage of him purchasing the ticket...
I mean, he's not really dumb. He's put in a bad situation. The guy's here illegally. He can't do anything about it. He's in shackles, bro. Hey, good thing ICE raids weren't a thing back in 2010. His ass would have been long gone already.
Jose did so and was able to prove that he was the rightful owner to the $750,000 prize. Only $250,000 of this went to taxes, another $250,000 was spent on court fees, and throughout the legal process, Jose was jailed for drunk driving and was deported back to Guatemala as soon as he won the court case. However, at least Jose Antonio Quartok got...
Okay, he went back to his country with $250K. That's not that bad, honestly, considering he was a dumbass. I thought he was just one of those cool jefes, but it turns out he was getting drunk every day. What the hell was that about?
Keep some of his winnings, as Denise Rossi wasn't so fortunate. When Denise won a jackpot of $1.3 million back in 1996, she'd been married to Thomas Rossi for over 25 years, yet their relationship was apparently lacking in transparency, as Denise didn't tell her husband about the win, and instead filed for divorce only 11 days after buying the lucky ticket. I was afraid to...
What? She got someone else on her mind. She's been plotting on this, no doubt. I can't help but assume, though, that husband is probably paying for all of the rent for the place she lives in. You gotta be a pathetic ass wife to do something like this. I'm sorry, dude.
I was afraid to tell Thomas because I knew he would try to take the money away from me. I went to the Lottery Commission office and told them I was married but contemplating divorce. They told me to file before I got my first check, which I did. Denise was initially successful in hiding the money from her now ex-husband, as for a whole 2 years after their divorce, Thomas had no idea that Denise had ever won the lottery. However, in May 1999, a letter was sent to Thomas's home address asking if Denise was interested in a lump sum buyout of her lottery winnings. This was the first Thomas knew about the lottery prize. He confirmed that Denise was a winner with the California lottery, and given they were still married at the time of the win, Thomas launched a lawsuit stating that he was entitled to half of the prize money. The judge specifically found that Denise's failure to disclose the lottery winnings constituted fraud, oppression, and malice, and as a result, the trial court awarded Thomas 100% of the lottery winnings, which left Denise with less than nothing, considering she also had to pay for her own legal fees.
That's crazy. Is that a little overkill? I don't know, chat. Maybe if you got like 10% of it, no, like 20 to 30, but 100%, that's a little overkill for sure. If I was the husband just to mess with her, I'd probably give her like $500. Go get you something nice.
However, Denise's loss of $1.3 million was still nothing in comparison to Evelyn Adams. Dubbed the luckiest woman in America, Evelyn Adams became the first person in human history to win the lottery
$5.4 million. Okay, so far this is the biggest prize won. I'm gonna predict that she lost all of this by judging off physical appearances. I should probably just keep my mouth shut, man. Let's keep this shit pushing. Never mind. Let's just keep going.
Initially for $3.9 million in October 1985, before winning another $1.4 million only 4 months later. With the probability
she won it twice in the matter of 4 months? What is this luck?
This win being approximately 1 in 17.3 trillion, Evelyn seemed to realize that she had no lottery luck left by stating that she was going to quit playing, and instead began to buy various businesses, including the convenience store where the lucky tickets had been purchased. While you could argue that this was a smart move, Evelyn still hadn't fixed her gambling problem, and instead of buying more lottery tickets, she instead took the rest of her winnings to the Atlantic City casinos, where she lost her entire remaining fortune to the slot machines. Without any money left, her businesses failed one after the other, and by 2012, Evelyn was living in a trailer park, while stating to the media winning the lottery isn't always what it's cracked up to be. Kelly Rogers likely had a similar...
Gambling is worse than drugs. You see what that shit could do to a man or a woman in this situation? 5 M's instantly gone on some slot machines. You could have retired your mom, could have retired your whole family, but instead you blew all that money on some slot machines. This is real life, okay? It's not a video game. You should have known what's at stake. You know what? You deserved it.
Outlook, as after winning over £1.8 million at the age of only 16, her life was also ruined. Initially, Kelly stated, "I will not go wild and spend loads. I'm going to take some advice and see an accountant. Hopefully I will make us all comfortable. I want to help my family, but I won't change. I just want a normal home, nothing posh. I just want a normal car as well. However..."
Well, shorty, you're on this video, so clearly we know that this is not the case. Winning over $1 million at 16 though, my age pretty much. I'm kind of happy that she went bankrupt. I'm not gonna lie. Let's be honest. You guys are happy too.
As soon as she received the money, Kelly instead spent £11,500 on 2 boob jobs, £300,000 on clothes, makeup and tattoos, as well as £85,000 on top of the range sports cars. Kelly,
get this bitch out of here. Boob jobs at 16. That girl is gonna get with the whole marching band. No, she's for the streets. I'm kind of dying to see what she looks like right now though. No weird shit.
Spent a further £250,000 on holidays to locations including Mexico and Euro Disney, £118,000 on gifts to former boyfriends, £190,000 in unreturned loans to friends and family members, and £50,500 on solicitors fees.
Twin, this must have been the OG bop. This was the bop of bops back in 2003.
All of which being purchased while she was still in high school. Kelly did make a few smart purchases, such as an £180,000 bungalow and a £96,000 home for her mum. However, by the end of the year, Kelly was back to square one, being on welfare with only £2,000 left in her account.
Oh my gosh, in that same year, in 2003. Yes, yeah, people like this exist. If you think you make poor financial choices, watch this video. You're gonna feel a whole lot better about yourself. You could have invested that money, twin. I don't even know how that whole investing shit works. You know what I'm saying? You could have invested that money, bro. What would I do if I won $1 million? I'd buy 1 million dut packs. Let's get it, chat.
Welfare with only £2,000 left in her account. She's since stated it was too much money for someone so young. Even if you say your life won't change, it does.
Blaming it on your age. We just gonna forget about all that shit you were saying, huh? I'm not a heavy spender. Next second, boob jobs. That's the first thing you want to spend your money on. Boob jobs.
Often not for the better.
Yeah, I just wish I was a bit older at the time of winning it, because I think at 16 you're still just a child, and overnight you've just got to grow up.
And she's British, bro, to make it even worse. I wish I was just a little bit older. Maybe back then I wouldn't be such a skank, you know. Like, hello, what are you saying, bro? Speak English.
Which is probably why she's now an advocate for raising the UK's legal gambling age from 16 to 18. Kelly Rogers certainly spent her money poorly. However, at least she had the chance.
She's renowned, bro. She's like a celebrity in England because she apparently changed the whole law. I would be embarrassed to walk out in public, no doubt about that.
Spend it, as 25-year-old Amanda Clayton from Detroit was no longer alive by the end of her spending spree. When Amanda won the $1 million jackpot back in 2011, it seemed as though her life had been changed overnight. However, her win quickly became controversial after the media learned that she was still collecting food stamps and benefit payments despite having won the lottery.
Detroit woman is now...
Government's not gonna like that. You about to be revoked of everything, gang.
The second lotto winner in the state to keep taking food stamps after hitting it big. And Amanda Clayton, who won $1 million and took home a $700,000 lump sum. The 24-year-old says even though she now owns 2 homes, she figured she was still allowed to use a bridge card.
After being confronted about the behavior, Amanda had the following to say.
I thought that they would cut me off, but since they didn't, I thought maybe it was okay because I'm not working.
And shortly thereafter, she was charged.
The audacity. You dumbass idiot. You just won $1 million taking advantage of EBT. What runs through some people's minds? Like, she said that on the news channel.
2 felony counts of welfare fraud and was ordered to pay back the $5,500 worth of food stamps she'd received. While Amanda quickly paid the $5,500 back, she never got the chance to spend the rest of the money, as only 6 months later she would unfortunately overdose in one of her 2 homes.
He says she was tormented by the fame and the problems that came with winning the lottery.
What's the point of having money if you're not gonna have happiness?
He says she didn't want the money anymore and bought things for her family and set up college funds for her children. He says she only had $67,000 of her winnings left.
The end to Amanda.
That's kind of tragic, Chad. That's kind of tragic, bro. She was a good person. R.I.P. to her, bro.
Clayton's story was somewhat unexpected. However, a 2-second glance at Ryan McGee.
Ugly ass. Yo, tell me why I could just tell this guy's British. Fucking hell. Oof. That hot breath. I could smell it through the screen, gang. Shut that shit up, bro. I could smell the cheese and beans.
Enough to predict that this lottery win would eventually end in disaster. After winning £6.1 million back in 2008 at the age of 27, Ryan was placed on the Sunday Times top 100 very rich list for young
damn.
people. He purchased a luxury mansion in his home country of Ireland, which featured 5 bedrooms and indoor swimming.
He's Irish. Irish and English, pretty much the same thing. Actually, I will not disrespect Conor McGregor like that.
A full champagne bar, and a 2-car garage where he kept his brand new Ferrari 458 Italian.
Look at this douchebag. Oh my gosh. All right, get some veneers or something. You got all that much money. Get some veneers, bro. Fucking teeth as yellow as this Ferrari logo.
However, as you might expect, this is where things began to go terribly. Only 3 years after buying the Ferrari, Ryan slipped off the road, crashing the car into a field, mainly because he was driving in the snow. Locals were amazed Ryan was driving the Ferrari in that weather, especially when he had a more suitable Range Rover he could use. The Ferrari was not understood to be running on winter tires, which, while costing around £4,400, hugely boost grip and handling in icy conditions. Ryan's property development business then dissolved, which was accompanied by a divorce from his wife and the sale of his luxury.
Look at him now, bro. You're gonna need a turkey trip on top of those veneers. How stupid can you be? You're driving a supercar in the snow. Spend copious amounts of money on a car all to fuck it up. Let's get it, gang. And you know what? Looking at him in this picture right here, I would have thought he's smart.
Home. Then, 2 years later, Ryan McGee was pulled over driving an uninsured Ford Focus without a license. However, the most interesting part is that he had to claim legal aid, which is a service for those who are unable to afford a lawyer. Now, Ryan McGee was a complete idiot.
He couldn't even afford a lawyer in the end. That's how much he fucked himself over. Guys, be wise with your money. That's a very good lesson to take away from this video. And also, why every fucking time that I pause, it's of this guy's ugly ass face. It's pissing me off.
Money. However, he still looks like Albert Einstein when compared to Martin Tott. When Martin and his wife Kay won £3 million back in 2001, they didn't go in to claim the prize because, well, they had no idea that they were winners. They'd purchased a ticket in passing, completely forgotten about it, and would only come to realize that they were the winners after hearing about the unclaimed prize over 6 months later. The main problem was that at some point, the ticket had been misplaced or thrown out completely. Despite frantically searching, the pair couldn't find their ticket, but were sure they had won because the jackpot numbers matched the ones they used every week. Computer records in their local Londis proved Kay really had purchased the ticket, and the thrilled pair rushed to tell lottery organizer Camelot to claim their prize. But they fell victim to a little-known rule, stating lost tickets must be reported within 30 days. After 45 days of deliberation, Camelot told the devastated couple that they would not be collecting the jackpot. And
I'd kill myself. I'd kill myself and my wife. No, it's over. What'd they say the prize money was? Over $1 million? We talking like, what is that? Quick math check. That is roughly 200 times the average American salary, which is $50,000.
Result, the couple's marriage eventually came to an end. We'd only known each other for 2 years, and the lottery ordeal quickly highlighted our differences. All we did was bicker. Sadly, both of us agreed we should split, and Kay moved out. Martin seems to have convinced himself that losing the ticket ended up being a good thing, having stated for a long time
it was $3 million, so that's 600 times the average American salary.
Lost sight of who I was and what I believed in. But I can honestly say I'm glad I didn't get the $3 million now. There is no guarantee it would have brought me happiness, and if there's anyone else who—
There you go. That's all that money can't buy happiness bullshit. Comes right after you lost all that money. I bet you there was a tear rolling down his face as he was writing this shit too. Just admit it, gang. You hate yourself, okay? Trying to act like he not sad that you lost 3 M's. Fuck out of here, yo.
Fuck out of here, bro.
Would have agreed with this statement. It definitely would have been the most miserable lottery winner of all time, William Post.
Man, what
William won a $16.2 million jackpot back in 1988.
16 million. This is the greatest one we've heard so far. We've hit 8 digits. That's crazy, bro.
He had just $2.46 in his bank account and was able to purchase the lucky ticket by selling a ring for $40 to a local pawn shop. This, in conjunction with the time he'd spent in jail for cashing invalid checks, highlighted William Post's awful money management skills and acted as foreshadowing for how poorly his lottery win was eventually going to be spent. Only
brother, how could you do that, bro? You were destined to win. But the reason you were so broke in the first place is because you were already a gambler. God's plan ain't planning right now.
4 days after receiving the $16.2 million, William Post had spent the entire fortune on a boat, a lease for a restaurant in Florida,
not even 3 months,
as well as a private jet. However, even after all of the money had been spent, Post took on a further $500,000 loan to purchase a mansion in Oil City, Pennsylvania. The problem was that William hadn't actually purchased the original ticket himself and had rather given the money to his girlfriend who had bought the winning ticket for him. Because of this, she was able to successfully sue him for 1/3 of the winnings, meaning that Post now owed $5.4 million to his ex-girlfriend from the $16.2 million that he no longer had. Since Post was unable—
$5 million in debt to your girlfriend. What are they gonna do with him now? I mean, the old bastard probably got like a year left in him to live.
Make this payment, the judge ordered that his bank account be frozen until he was able to come up with the money. However, before he was able to sell enough stuff to pay the $5.4 million, William was arrested and ordered order to serve a 6 to 24-month prison term for an assault charge from 6 years prior. Toward the end of his life, Post was on his 7th marriage with over $1 million in debt and was getting by on food stamps and a job paying $450 per month. However, William Post still doesn't have the craziest lottery win story of all time.
There's no way. It gets crazier than that.
Andrew Jackson Whitaker, whose life would change forever after winning $315 million back in 2002.
I'm about to cry. I'm about to cry in this bitch, bro. This video is moving too fast. It's just case after case, stupid people after stupid people. You have a third of $1 billion. You heard that right. Billion with a B. How the f how is it even possible to go broke with that much money? It looked like he got his kids and wife here with him and shit. If I was his daughter, I'd shoot my fucking dad. I would shoot him.
Unlike almost everyone else in this video, Whitaker was actually quite successful prior to winning the lottery, having built up a net worth of over $17 million with the assistance of his construction company. And while this would imply that he was in a position,
so he's a smart guy. Again, begs the question, how the f did this happen?
To manage a large lottery win, this isn't what would happen. Whitaker instantly donated 10% of the winnings to churches, Christian groups, and spent a further $14 million establishing the Jack Whitaker Foundation, which provided free food and clothing for low-income families in West Virginia.
Obviously, you're
oh my, yo, what a good guy. Holy shit. That's a lot of money, but it's only like 1% of all of his money, which means he still has a shitload of money left. Still, there's no way he could go broke, right?
work with all this money.
Yes, I am. I'm helping a lot of people, and I plan to help a lot more.
He then drove back to the convenience store where he had purchased the ticket before giving the clerk a $44,000 check, a $123,000 house, and a brand new Jeep Cherokee, which was followed by Whitaker buying himself a Lamborghini, in which he'd drive around his neighborhood throwing money out the window. After flaunting this wealth, this
guy's moving like Mr. Beast, I'm not gonna lie.
His Lamborghini was broken into, where thieves stole $545,000 in cash. However, this apparently
happens to the best of us. It don't matter how much of a good guy you are, people are still gonna fuck you over.
Wasn't much of a wake-up call, as his car was then broken into for the second time, resulting in the loss of a further $200,000 cash. Jack Whitaker's granddaughter—
Why do you have that much cash on you, you stupid? Hey, those thieves are having a field day with all that money. But did credit cards or something not exist back then? Credit or debit? You should know that you're a famous person at this point. So obviously there's gonna be thieves trying to fuck you over.
Jack Whitaker's granddaughter passed away, his daughter then passed away, which was followed by a divorce with his wife.
And now you've lost your granddaughter.
Damn.
You're about to be divorced from your wife. Where does this ever end?
Leading him to state that he had lost everything.
I pretty much lost everything I held dear in my life.
You got lots of money.
Money has never meant anything to me. You have to have money to exist in this world, but money doesn't rule the world. Money is not what makes people happy.
And that he wished he had never purchased the lottery ticket in the first place.
My wife had said she'd wished
she'd torn
the ticket up. Well, I wish that we had torn the ticket up too. I just don't like what I'm...
Forgive me, God, for making fun of him. I never made fun of him. I just thought he was a dumbass. Wow, he never went bankrupt, but at what cost? That's honestly sad as fuck. Rest in peace to his daughter and granddaughter, man. Shit. I'm kind of flabbergasted right now. A lesson that we can take away just based off this last case right here. Money truly cannot buy happiness. That's what I'm leaning more towards right now. Hey, man, road to 1K with many more milestones to come after that. With that being said, man, y'all stay safe and I'll see y'all in the next video, bro. Peace out.